Hello and welcome to the introduction of our newest ink and flip stencil, ink and flip layering cobweb. Now, like I said, if you've come from the blog today, I don't normally do Halloween products. I haven't done any in the past, maybe as digital, but physical ones I don't actually have in the Uniko collection any Halloween ones, but I came up with this idea of creating an ink and flip cobweb, and I just had to run with it. So I've had to be a little bit creative when it comes to adding the sentiments to my cards. These are two of the cards that I've shared on the blog today. This first one here shows both layers of the ink and flip, so the background, which I've inked in 2 shades of orange, and then I've added the cobweb inside in 2 shades of grey. And I've been creative by stamping the eek sentiment using our outlined alphabet. And while I was adding the sentiment, I realised it doesn't have to be a Halloween sentiment or even a fall sentiment. So I've added birthday, happy birthday, because they could have a Halloween birthday or one day Halloween. So that's why I've chose that. And this sentiment's from Floral Vines. And then for my second card, which I shared on the blog today, uses just the central part that does the cobweb, and I've done it in a rainbow effect, and it was really easy to achieve this rainbow effect. I've used just 2 shades of each colour, and I just masked off each segment, starting with the darker colours, and then when I cleaned and then flipped my stencil, if you flip it in the correct way, you will then be able to add the lighter shades. So I just did each segment and I did it 3 times, and again I added the sentiment using outlined alphabet, and also the same sentiment, but I just snipped off, I masked off the birth bit to say happy boo day, and again that could be a birthday card or a Halloween card. And to be honest, I did debate not adding a sort of Halloweeny theme sentiment because it's so bright and colourful that you could add any sentiment really and make the card for any theme, not just Halloween, by switching up the colours. So I thought I would just demonstrate this stencil so you can see it in action, like I've done previously with ink and flip stencils. And there's quite a few videos now in the Uniko lineup here which show demonstrations of the various various ink and flip stencils that are available. They are all, apart from these 2 new ones that come out on Saturday at 9 AM UK time, all of the other ones are available in store. I think it's only the heart ink and flip geometric layering heart that there's only a limited quantity on that. Otherwise all the other ones have good quantities in stock at the moment. So like I've shared in other videos this week and previously, I've just done a little mark where the centre from these inside corners of the stencil are, just so I can centralise it a little bit. You don't have to centralise it, It is totally choice, but for videoing and demonstrating, and I do like things centered, I'm doing that today. So my white card measures 13 centimeters square, just for reference, and I'm just using some removable tape to secure the stencil. Now I'm going to do a bit of a reverse of my colours here. I've picked out some old new colours, and I'm going to use some shades of grey and shades of purple. On my other card I did use Concord and Ninth colours. They tend to be my go-to Reach colours, but I thought for a change I'm going to use some old new. Now these are the old crisp dye inks, the style of pad I invested when they first came out. I know they've changed over to the fresh dye inks. I have got a couple of the colour families in them, but the majority of mine are the older style. If you ever looking for them, the style of sort of the design of the ink pad, I should say, has changed, and the ink formula has changed slightly as well. So here I'm just applying, the colour I've chosen is the grey denim. And the beauty of these ink and flips are that you can do whatever colour combo that you fancy. When I come to creating, as you know, I love colour. If you've watched some of my videos previously, I absolutely love colour. And I often find it hard to choose a colour, so I often reach for rainbow colours. Little tip, if you wanted to do this background in a rainbow colour, what you would do, you would start with one segment. You would say you were starting with red, you would do red in that segment, but you would miss the next colour in the rainbow, like orange. So you'd start with red here, miss orange, but do yellow, miss green, but do turquoise, miss blue and do purple, miss the colour and do the next colour. You'd need a little bit more because obviously there's more. You'd have to add a few more shades in your rainbow for this particular one, but I have demonstrated a rainbow version of a card. It might have been Ink and Flip Christmas Star, where I've demonstrated achieving the rainbow effect. So it's really easy and simple just to add your colour through the stencil. I'm pressing quite hard because these inks aren't super juicy, but then I find them really nice to blend with when they're not crazy juicy, and they don't tend to seep underneath the stencil too much either. So there's the first layer. Now that makes quite an interesting pattern as well. So there are no rules to say that you have to flip. I've just moved my stencil off my desk onto the side of my desk, and I'm just rubbing over with a damp cloth just to get that shade of ink off so it doesn't transfer to my card where I don't want it to. And I'm just drying it off. So this is how we had it before and we inked through. Now to achieve the pattern of the background, you literally just flip from side to side, and then you just line up. Now these have sort of like a dome here, like a, not even a half circle, but a section of a circle, and you're literally sort of lining them up. So you've got half of a half, I suppose I would say, really. And then you're just going to secure it down in place. And then just go over with your darker colour. There's no rules either to say you have to start with your light colour and then go to your dark colour. Either way works. As long as you've got two shades, I feel you get sort of more of an overlap and the effect of the ink and flip. The design, so the colours overlap to give another shade and define the pattern. Obviously the other layer doesn't overlap. It just produces the geometric image, whatever that one may be. In this case it's a fun cobweb design. And again, you just go over until you're happy with your inking. So originally, if you've watched the other two videos I've shared this week using the Christmas star ink and flip and the snowflake, you will have seen that those two stencils were just single layers. Now the snowflake would have been a little bit more complicated to produce a sort of geometric image of that particular design, and in hindsight I'd wished I'd done the star as a 2-layer, so you never know, the star actual geometric shape might be released at one point. The beauty of these these stencils that come with 2 layers, is you can use both together, like I showed you on my first card, or you can use each layer individually. So I've shown how the cobweb can be used on its own, and just like that can be used on its own, this one can too, and it produces this lovely shape in the middle. And if you'd done them in rainbow colours, you could simply add a birthday sentiment, or you can embellish with a flower in the corner. I've made shaker cards and then added my sentiment, and vice versa. So there's lots of things you can do with each layer individually, and I think this shape here is really good fun. I haven't seen all of the brand ambassadors inspiration cards yet, but I'm sure one of them has used this individual layer, and I might have just done one for release day as well, so make sure you check back on Saturday on the blogs and social media, because I will be sharing more inspiration on the release day, and we have our traditional release day blog hop as well. So then the next part is just to add your cobweb if you're using both layers together. Now this fits in nice and easily with a border at the bottom of this bit here, and again I'm just securing my stencil down, and then I've chosen 2 colours of purple for today. I'm kind of getting it in the Halloween spirit. I've got Midnight Violet and Deep Iris. Now I don't think there's a huge difference between the darknesses of these colours. They do come in the same ink collection. It's been a long time since I've used these two colours, but I just selected them as they were two of the brightest colours of purples that I've got. I've got the small cubes of Concord and Ninth, but I have used them, a couple of the purples on here, which are really quite nice colours. But as I said earlier, I just fancied giving my old new ones a bit of love, as it's been a while. So you literally just do the same again, just adding your colour through. I'm pressing quite hard. My inks aren't super juicy. So just so I get nice good coverage until you're happy. And then same again, take the stencil off and just wipe it over. If you've only used a dye ink, even a pigment ink, if you were using a pigment ink, you would want to dry it on your card before you flipped your stencil. But dye inks you can just wipe off with a cloth. There's no need to wash it under the tap. Some colours might stain it slightly, but it'll still work just as well. And then all you're going to do is you're going to flip the stencil. So I had it like this, and you're literally just flipping from side to side, and these half sections here that are down the middle line up to complete that section of the cobweb. And again, just secure your stencil in place, and then you can go through with your second colour. So I chose Deep Iris and Midnight Violet, and I'm just using the Midnight Violet now for a nice vibrant card. That I will then go ahead and embellish at some point, adding a sentiment. But I need to decide what sentiment I am going to add to this one. So once I have revealed the image, you will see how quickly this card has come together. You could, in the past I've done like this central image on a separate layer of cardstock, and you can fussy cut it out and adhere it using foam adhesive if you wanted some dimension. There's lots of options. You could go, once you've cleaned it, you could go back through and replace your stencil, and then go through with some pastes if you wanted to add shine or glitter and dimension that way. But that is how the Ink and Flip layering cobweb stencil works. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me this week so far for these Ink and Flip revisits and introductions. We have one more introduction tomorrow, and I hope you will join me for that one. Thank you very much, and see you again soon.